Yankees, we told you all along that they had a plan B. If they lost Soto, they would move quickly. Well, obviously, they lost Soto, and what did they do? They went and got Max Fried. What did they do? They traded for the ace closer of the Milwaukee Brewers, Devin Williams, and they did hardly give up anything to make that deal happen. And what is next? Alex Bregman. I mean, if the Yankees finish up the Hot Stove League saying goodbye to Soto and welcoming in Alex Bregman on top of what they already acquired, that's a hell of an offseason for Hal Steinbrenner.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the latest there. Cubs, they're trying to make moves. Cubs are shopping Cody Bellinger hard. Now there's a problem. I mean, they're trying to trade him to lots of different places. They've talked to the Yankees, heavy conversations in Houston, but he's got 2 years, $54 million left. Yankees in Houston say, if you want us to take Bellinger, you got to pay a chunk of that 54. At this point, the Cubs are not in favor of that. We talked about the Arenado situation. He's got $34 million this year, $35 million next year. It's a bone of contention for a bunch of teams. Houston, Astros, the trade with Kyle Tucker. He goes to Wrigley Field. I think it was an awful trade. I don't think Houston got fair value for a young stud power-hitting outfielder. Granted, he was hurt a chunk of this past season. That's a really good player, and he's going to Wrigleyville, where if you got power and the wind blows the right way, you can hit a lot of home runs. San Francisco, wow, already signed Willy Adames. Buster Posey is making individual trips to different cities to meet face-to-face with their general managers or their team presidents. He is a real proactive young executive.
Right on.
He has met with Paul Goldschmidt in San Francisco. They are talking to Scherzer. They're talking to Verlander about 1-year rentals with an option for a second year if you have a good first year.
Hey.
So, I mean, he's already got the shortstop in Adames. He's got good young pitching led by Logan Webb. But geez, if he could go into the marketplace and if he could get Goldie for 1 or 2 years and rent Scherzer and Verlander and hope they have bounce back healthy seasons on 1-year deal with an option, he's changed the whole chemistry of San Francisco Giant baseball. So that's interesting. And the last one is the Mets. Let me throw this at you about Juan Soto. You know, he talked about finally why he left the Yankees to go cross town to Citi Field. He said, we're going to the Mets because the Mets can win right now. And then he talks about the roster that's going to be around him. He makes no reference at all to the World Series roster he just left. Do you see anybody in the Met batting order, Juan, that resembles the talents of Aaron Judge? I don't. Do you see any Garrett Cole or Carlos Rodon or frontline starting pitching from Yankee Stadium? Do you see any of that on the Mets rotation, led by Cody Senga and a bunch of refugees? No. What the hell are you trying to tell the world you think the Mets are about to win? And then he finishes up this one-on-one interview in New York, and he says, he admits, I haven't talked to any of my teammates at Yankee Stadium since the last day of the playoffs. The guy has no relationship with anybody that wore pinstripes. None. He doesn't say goodbye to anybody. He doesn't yak with anybody. And then he also admits, San Diego, yeah, I had a problem in the clubhouse, problem with Manny Machado. Was it Manny's fault? Was it Soto's selflessness, self-centeredness? I don't know. The stuff that comes out of his mouth is so strange. All I know is dude better not hit 246 at Citi Field. And the Mets, they don't have anywhere near enough the talent on the roster that they had in the batting order at Yankee Stadium. And the Mets pitching staff is a far cry away from what the Yankees would run out their starters 1, 2, and 3, and what the Yankees have done in the offseason. So, John, go ahead. Talk Yankees, talk Mets, talk about those other teams.
Well, the Soto information, it doesn't surprise me at all. You know, it's par for the course with that guy. And it just confirms how 2023, with that bad chemistry year when the Padres had all that talent. And, you know, if there was friction between him and Manny, there's probably friction with other players. Yeah, so it just kind of confirms what we've already known. That's just set off huge alarm bells for Mets fans. But, you know, they're sunk. I mean, that contract is signed, and they're going to have to deal with that for the rest of the term. It's interesting with the Cubs how some years they kind of go all in, and then other years they kind of reel it back. And so this seems like they're in a surge mode. They're trying to add top talent.
Who are they? What's your blueprint? You're correct. Dive Hall in. They got themselves a great pitcher from Japan last year, and then he got hurt. But when he came back, he was really healthy the back half of the schedule.
Was that rookie?
Yes.
Yeah, he was good.
Yeah, until he got hurt. And then when he came back, he was out for such an extended period of time. When he came back, he was good. But, are the Cubs all in, or are the Cubs regretting what they did? And now they're stuck with a Scott Boras negotiated Bellinger contract, and they can't find takers for a 2-year, $54 million deal, and they're trying to move him out of there. I don't know what the Cubs are doing. So what do you think about your boy Buster?
It's cool that he's going out on the road and meeting face-to-face people.
Yeah.
I like that. I mean, it's kind of an old school approach, but he's trying to, probably trying to ramp up, his knowledge and his negotiating skills as part of it. But I love it. And going after like a Scherzer or a Verlander on a 1-year, rental deal. Lately, the Giants have signed a lot of guys to longer term deals, and most of them have not panned out. So hopefully the jinx is going to be reversed.
Okay, you're a baseball fan. You got a comment on Soto, what he said with the Mets, what he said about the Yankees, what he said about relationship in San Diego. Feel free. Fans Forum chat box is open for baseball fans. We've come through the first wave of free agency, and there's still a bunch of big names out there. We're waiting for the next domino to fall, which I probably think is going to be Alex Bregman, but your comments are invited in Fans Forum.